Welcome. Today is Wednesday, January 7th, 2026. The time is now promptly at 7 p.m. We're going to open this council regular session. If you would please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you to all our vets and public servants and active and retired military. And now is time for public comment. So now is the time for our visitor comment. The visitor comment period is an essential part of local government meetings. Please address your comments to the mayor or city council member. The city council will take all input into consideration. Please limit your share to 3 minutes or less. And observant of Oregon open meeting laws, this isn't a time for dialogue, but rather a time for us to listen to you. Responses to the next visitor comment, if needed, will be published in the next city council regular session packet. Please provide contact information sign sheet in the back of the room in case staff needs to get a hold of you for any clarifying questions. And with that, please come up and say your name for the record. And with that, we'll take the first public comment.
Tammy Magra. I want to read a little something. This is a direct quote from Hush, chapter 6, towards the end. This is about a comment that the now mayor said, and it refers to public records, unredacted public records, and the public. Massey, I don't want hearsay. I want evidence. And whatever they redact, that just tells me that they are redacting something for a reason and that we need to dig harder. This is another direct quote from Hush 2. We are family, so telling. This is a reporter from OPB. They requested records on the inner workings of the county sheriff's office, the same sheriff's office that Jennifer's husband, Terry, wanted to lead. And they went after the city government in St. Helens, where Jennifer, by the time we met her, was running for mayor. This is another quote from Jennifer Massey. Because I want facts, I don't want hearsay, I want evidence. And whatever they redact, that just tells me that they are redacting something for a reason and that we need to dig harder, and it usually generates another FOIA request. But people should be empowered to ask questions of our government and our elected officials. They're elected for a reason. They need to answer questions. I'm all for that. Well, that seems funny, Mayor, because we have the Jim Band report, and that's redacted. It's not all there. It's not given to the public. The taxpayers paid for it. You have records that's off-site. And I find that kind of a little odd. And you know, before, when you were running, you were talking about transparency and accountability. Well, and your little group of small, insignificant fools that you run with. And there's one thing I can say for a fact that doesn't need a document. You're nothing but a hypocrite. Because when you were running, you wanted records, unredacted records, and you hollered that all the time. But now that you're mayor, the tables turned and you don't care if the public has the same thing that you wanted. So yes, that is a hypocrite. Have a good evening.
Next public comment, please.
Ray Preheim. Following up on Tammy's comment, the excuse that you gave or the lies that you generated in your work session about the reason you're not releasing the Band report is because of attorney-client privilege. You might actually want to talk to your attorney. I noticed that none of you were there at the court hearing, but the attorney, that is not the excuse the attorney is giving. The excuse that the attorney is giving is we never asked for those and they don't belong to us. They belong to Jim Band, not us. which is a total lie. So you might at least get straight with the lie that you're trying to spread about why you're not releasing the band report. It's not attorney-client privilege. I do want to follow up on your comments about the boat and that you all know about it, and you know that you could buy the boat because you've done your research. Well, for your information, the boat has 2 new motors on them. The motors themselves were $50,000, and it costs $6,000 to have somebody come out and synchronize them because they're computer controlled. Yet you think you could buy the boat for $25,000? Show me a picture of that boat. I want to see it. You said you have them. I want to see a picture of it. You already heard your city administrator tell you that the Coast Guard himself has told them that there is no boat like that on the West Coast. So no, you didn't find the comparable boat. That's just more lies and misinformation. It is a unique boat with new engines that no, you should not sell. And just because we now have a contractor that doesn't know what they're doing with the boat, that doesn't know what they're doing with the train, and that lied about the train, as Jennifer does when she gets caught in a problem, she just makes up lies. That's what Treadway does. So rather than actually say, we don't know how to run the train, we can't figure it out, we don't want to spend the time on the boat, they just make up lies. I don't know why the hell John is spending his time on the boat. Because guess what? The boat got certified and done before by the tourism contractor. That's not your job, John. That's the contractor's job. That's what the tourism director does. And guess what? They did it. The boat operated. We used it. The train operated. We used it. And I'm glad you've acknowledged that they lied to you. Tell me why it is that a contractor can lie to you in public on record and they have no consequences. They come here and tell you it's a 3-gallon tank. You've now verified that they lied and there are no consequences. No one there expects that your contractor should tell you the truth. And interestingly enough, shows you how much you know about tourism and the program. The one asset you haven't even mentioned is the Alien. The Alien is more expensive than the boat and the train combined. You have no idea what that asset is. You haven't even talked about it. So you might get yourself informed about the tourism program before you start spewing things that you don't know anything about.
Next public comment, please.
Patrick Berkeley, St. Helens resident. First, thank you for the responses that you do give at the beginning of the work sessions. You are responding to comments that are made at this visitor comment time. I think it is helpful to and provides information for continuing dialogue. Secondly, I did hear at the afternoon session the claim that perhaps 6 police officers could be funded with $300,000. I think that's wildly inaccurate. I haven't had a chance to look at the contract with the police, but I think when you take into account the salaries and then the benefits and all that those officers are due and the training when you bring people on, that $300,000, maybe 3 officers. I don't know, but I hope that you will address that at the next meeting. Third thing, in terms of accountability and tourism, I do believe that the city was not wholly doing its best holding the previous contractor accountable in terms of, from the city's point, letting the contractor know exactly what kind of information was needed. I think that did lead to a lot of some of the ongoing consequences. I do, however, believe that Treadway, from what I've seen, the city seems to be requiring greater accountability, and that there is more information being made public concerning tourism and tourism dollars. Another thing, there was a comment made about the waterfront and the study that's being done with the Romano Corporation, which I think is going to be giving a presentation fairly soon. And the calling for 200 units, I guess, very high quality units, and I hope that all housing is of high quality. But as we look at the proposal, not to keep in mind that this waterfront is for all citizens, and that housing, whatever type of housing is done there, should keep in mind the housing study that was housing needs analysis that was done, I forget how many years ago. Keep that in mind, but also making sure that there is affordability for citizens who may not have very high income. Fifth, the boat. Wasn't able to hear the discussion on that. I was on the council when we purchased the boat. If there is a desire to sell it, I would ask you to reconsider or think about that, because one of the reasons I agreed for purchase of the boat was for public, the boat being used for public use other than tourism purposes, and particularly in emergency management in the case of a Cascadia event or some type of event where we were cut off on Highway 30. This would provide an asset to the city and to the citizens for emergency response.
Adam St. Pierre. So finance meeting, I don't think some people know what the actual finance director's job is. It's to present a balanced budget and take the recommendations and make them work that the council and budget committee do. That's apparently hard for some people to understand, but what I do have is Gloria explaining that in pretty good terms. I cut this down so I can make my 3 minutes, but
Our estimates for next year on page 59 is that after all expenses are paid, after all of everything, that there'll be a fund balance of 106,000. So that doesn't give a whole lot of extra to put more money towards the general fund. If the
isn't the GF
the Halloween Town, for instance, does a lot better than we anticipate, because, you know, they had all of these challenges this last time, we would expect that they will do a lot better next year, this season. It could be more than that, but we budget conservatively so that we are able to not have to borrow from somewhere else in order to cover.
I just want to kind of finish this tourism discussion regarding next year. This one, is that GFSS? Is that the 100,000? Is that goes okay? Can we just put 300,000 there? And then put that number there. Good. And I'm on this, but there are ways that I'm sure they can find $300,000 for us.
So you're proposing that we increase the event revenues to $1.5 million and increase the GFSS, the
No.
services to the.
Say we keep the revenues at 1.2 and we tell our contractor we want 300 grand. Make it happen. And if they can't,
It's got to come from revenues for our budget to balance it.
got it. So why add it on revenues? Why not why add it on revenues? Why not
We would have to in order to have a balanced budget.
projects and programs, lower that number to 400,000 or 500,000?
You would probably be crippling your, okay?
Yep. So Gloria knows her job pretty well. The numbers are there. An apology would still be accepted, I'm sure.
Okay, next public comment.
Good evening, Stephen Toskey, citizen of St. Helens. So always going to start off with the most important thing. That's the Romano Capital discussion. I heard their presentation. I thought one of the products they're going to probably want to do is apartments, because they said it was a QOZ with a qualified opportunity zone. I think what we need, we built a lot of lower income housing. And it's causing issues in our schools. It's causing issues, very bad issues in our schools. Lot of problem issues with our schools. And it's causing issues with our police. And so we've kind of, we've built on that side of the equation. And what we need to be having to get our city where it needs to go is to sell some product to people who can afford $550, $650, $750 type. That kind of product is available for people to buy, move here. And I think that as far as affordability is concerned, I think that we're gonna be more affordable, even though it's waterfront property, because of some of the issues that I just talked about. And what the city should be doing is making sure the price that whoever pays for the land is gonna help them blackboard and get what we need, which is neighbors and folks that are gonna bring some disposable income here. That's our number one priority. Our priority is not to help Romano make money or its investors make money. This city's responsibility is to plan our community and make sure we don't become like a high crime area and continue to move us in a prosperous direction, which is what our economic is. So those are my comments, and I'm hoping Romano's listening. And I'm hoping that you guys are gonna find solutions that we need. As far as I was really shocked to hear about that the police have doubled their overtime budget without any discussion whatsoever. That was not an agenda item. And I don't know how it is that a department is able to double its budget without somebody saying, hold on for a second, you guys are going way over the line. That's not how anything can possibly be run. You can't have people who are managing departments essentially spending money like crazy. And there is an agreement with the union that's still in place for 2024, as far as I know, for, people who are going to be on call at their homes at night. It's $100 an officer. And I'm kind of surprised to hear that that kind of thing didn't get implemented before we doubled our overtime budget. And then with your permission, Mayor, just 10 more seconds on Sand Island. It was a real mess before Brad took it over, huge. And I think we need to be careful about, I think we need to make sure that we're keeping them as doing what they're doing, because that's one thing that's really been a huge improvement over the years, how that island runs and all the fun people have.
That's 10 seconds.
All right. I appreciate Councilor Chilton's comments about the boat and how things have changed. But we're gonna need a way to get our cops over to Sand Island. Got some problems with that.
Next public comment, please. Anybody online?
Nobody raise their hand.
Okay, so that puts us over into resolution. So we have resolution number 2064, a resolution appointing the budget officer for fiscal year 26-27.
Move we approve resolution number 2064.
Second.
Just making sure we don't have something on, right, Councilor Sundin? Nope. Okay. So we have a motion, a second, Council President Chilton. All right, Councilor Hubbard?
Yeah.
Councilor Gunderson?
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. And then, as far as we're not going to need public comment for increasing utility rates because we are not going to be addressing resolution number 2065, a resolution to establish water, sewer, and storm drainage utility rates and charges this evening. So that has been removed from the agenda. And we also have removed was the Axon, agreement with Axon Enterprise, so that is not going to be heard today for authorizing signature. That puts us down to consent agenda for acceptance. We have number 4, Parks and Trails Commission's minutes dated October 13th and November 10th, 2025. And number 5, Planning Commission minutes dated August 12th, September 19th, and October 14th, 2025.
That we approve consent agenda items 4 and 5 as read.
Second.
We have a motion, second, Council President Chilton. All right, Council Hubbard. Councilor Gunderson. I as well. We have consent agenda for approval. We have number 6, city council minutes dated December 17th, 2025. Number 7, budget calendar fiscal year 2027. Number 8, adoption of the St. Helens Reservoir Sitting Study and authorization to apply a recommended site. Number 9, authorization to, for leak adjustment decisions to be made under the administrative rule and refer to city council only under extenuating circumstances or by customer appeal. Number 10, OLCC license. Number 11, accounts billable payments.
I move we approve consent agenda items 6 through 11 as read.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Council President Hilton.
Aye.
Counselor Hubbard.
Aye.
Counselor Gunderson.
Aye.
And I as well. We have work session items. We have 2 different items that we're going to discuss, which the first one is the water taxi. And then the second we'll discuss is the tram. And then I guess, yeah, we'll wait on that. We'll talk about the next time. Okay, so let's talk about the water taxi first. Does anybody want to make a motion to being the surplus property and have our city administrator see what we can get from putting it out for sale? To deem it surplus property.
I'll make a motion to deem the water taxi surplus property.
You can have a motion, second discussion. So I have a discussion that, or a topic that maybe we may be interested in to navigate this a little bit is the consideration also to go out for an RFP or to see if there's any additional citizens or entities here that would like to take this project on and get it out of our hands and their hands.
Operate it.
Everything. And then potentially we could consider doing, you know, even a sale and us holding the note and so.
I like that idea.
So this would be before declaring it surplus property. Is that
Correct.
correct? So then,
We would need to vote that down and then we need to make a new motion to go out for to develop an RFP, go out for RFP for the. I don't know what it looks like. Nation,
Operation of the water taxi.
yeah.
So there's a couple different options and the city administrator could work on some sort of a public process. So people could submit proposals to the city of how they'd want to operate the boat, or if they want to purchase the property and have the city finance that purchase in some way, or lease the boat. There'd be something, if that's something that the city council wants to do, where since there's seems to be citizen interest in keeping the boat within the city of St. Helens, and this gives people, organizations, businesses the opportunity to submit a proposal and to come up with some ideas for the city to consider.
I'm against that, but you're losing your window for sale possibly. We're looking. Choice.
So, I mean, it's up to the council of what we want to do with the next opportunity. I had the thought of, I don't think we're going to recoup the amount of money that we have spent on this water taxi. And I think that if there's an opportunity for an owner carry contract, like a note, we might get more for it than we would for selling it outright. I'm not a boat broker. I don't know. But then also it could still potentially provide the opportunity for additional events. And if there is an entity here that would like to do that, maybe it's an opportunity for another small business to have some economic relations.
I like the idea. Obviously, I stated earlier in the work session that I seen the vision for the boat, you know, and I see that it's just a task that the city, you know, alone cannot, at this time take on. So it really needs to be someone with a plan and, you know, and so I see the vision for it being in the area. Just the city is just not in a position right now to take it on.
Yeah, and I think it's ridiculous that our city administrator is spending so much time and calories on trying to finish getting the, you know, COI of it and all of that stuff, where this would then be the individual entity that would be awarded the contract or the RFP, that they would take that on as their project, which would alleviate him from doing additional task.
Although someone will have to handle the RFP process. So that's probably him.
Are you good with that?
Yeah, I'm good. Anything that keeps it in the community potentially seems like a good idea to me. So
Okay, so then we had a motion, we had a second. Council President Chilton,
Nay.
Counselor Hubbard.
On, what are we doing on?
We're gonna, so if in fact we want the RP, we have to vote it down so that we can.
Down,
do-
nay.
Okay, so are you a yay or nay?
Nay.
Okay, Counselor, I'm a nay as well. All right, that failed.
I'll make a excuse me, I'll make a motion to authorize the city administrator to work on an RFP for the water taxi.
Okay, we have a motion, second, Council President Chilton. All right, Counselor Hubbard, Counselor Gunderson, and I as well. Okay, the second item we had for work session is the tram. And whether we would like to make a motion to deem that surplus property.
I'll make a motion to deem the tram surplus property.
We have a second? We have- Any discussion on it? Have any discussion?
No, I mean, we discussed it earlier in the work session, and so I feel like my thoughts on it are still the same. I have talked to Treadway and it's not being used. It's not of use to them. In fact, it caused issues, so current climate says we don't need it, we're not using it.
So motion, second, Council President Chilton.
Aye.
Counselor Hubbard. Counselor Gunner.
Aye.
And I as well. We will deem that surplus property.
And I do think that I will now go to Treadway and ask them about the alien, because I think that's a great topic for conversation that we should also look at whether or not we're using it.
And I'd like to know at the time too, I'd like to have some information on what we actually purchased for that or what we paid for the city and also the software with that, if we had any issues with that as well. So if you could bring that back to the table when we talk about the alien exhibit, that would be great. Because I think that will help us better understand what the value is.
we'll do that. Sure. Yeah.
Okay. That puts us into the interview candidates for the budget committee. So, do we have, everybody here is Nicole Batista here? Some? Jeremy Evans. We have Nick Flory and Alana Gilston.
She online?
Well, she doesn't have to be here till 8, so.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, we could do the other candidates.
Yep.
Okay.
And then we have Brady Preheim. All right, so what we're going to do, and since Nick or Alana, she's what, we'll move Brady in her position if it comes to that. So the first one, individual candidate, Nicole, if you want to come up here to the table. And I'll explain what we're doing, and then when Alana gets here.
Don't be scared. It's
Yeah,
okay. It's not
yeah.
here.
I just don't know what to
Uh-huh.
expect. I was like, do I bring anything? Is there a job description? It's like,
No, it'll be short and sweet.
Yeah, so basically what we're gonna do is we have currently 5 candidates that have applied. There are 5 different questions that we're going to ask you. And then, afterwards, we'll have deliberations to discuss and then we'll move forward. But the first thing before we get into the questions is the budget committee meets 2 to 3 times a year, generally in April and May. There is the budget calendar right there that Kathy printed out for you. Are you able to commit your time based on the meeting calendar?
and these are evening times, right?
Correct.
From what I was, yes, I am.
And I think we pushed last year, if I recall correctly, we started maybe at 4 or 5 one time, but it's generally evening.
Yeah, it's evening.
Okay, and then if council would like, we can start, if Council President Chilton will do question 1, because we have 4 more questions, then I'll do question number 2. Counselor Gunderson, can you do 3? And then Counselor Hubbard, can you do 4? And then we'll do this for each one of the candidates, just ask the same questions. That works? Okay, so
All right, I have a very tough question for you, Nicole. Please tell us why you would like to be on the budget committee.
Well, I already kind of do this voluntarily with Scouts, so it's.
I've seen you with the scouts.
I'm a business major, I'm a math nerd, I wanna maybe help. And I've heard there's some issues with budgeting, and I thought, having a fresh eye come in, maybe that always helps, I'm not quite sure what the job entails yet, so I can't really speak to that, but I don't, just having the fresh eye, I'm good with numbers, I understand budgets, so. I'd like to help.
Number 2, what do you think you'll add with your participation on the budget?
Well, like I was saying, having a fresh view, maybe, some things that haven't been thought of before, or, I don't know, like I said, I have a business major, it's something I'm used to doing is budget, so.
All right, question 3. What do you feel are the biggest opportunities and challenges facing St. Helens?
If I could say that last part again?
What are the biggest opportunities and challenges facing St. Helens?
Right now, I am concerned about our police force and how, like today, I heard that they can only do 2 shifts. I wonder what 3 shifts would look like, if that's something that we could ever move to, things like that. Public safety is a big thing for me, and of course, youth programs are very important to me, being in Scouts and stuff, so, stuff like that, I think is really important to me, so.
Okay, number 4, do you have anything else you'd like to let us know about?
I did ask if, it was a conflict of interest because I do Scouts at 13 Nights. And I did work Halloween Town for Treadway, so I don't know if that would cause any issues. So I just want to bring that up ahead of time. I don't know if that would or not, but.
I don't think
Appreciate that. I don't think so.
that would provide insight as to like, you being on the inside. of
More
those-
views, yeah. Just, I don't know, I like to volunteer my time, I love this community, and I wanna see things move in a positive direction, and I can help.
That's it. That's it. It was easy, right?
It sounded really formal and big and it.
Right.
So thank you for taking the time and putting your name in here and of, applying in general, like it's fantastic. To see that consistent. The next candidate we have is Jeremy Evans. Welcome.
Good evening.
So the first question, the budget calendar is on the table right there. So the budget committee meets 2 to 3 times a year, generally in April and or May. Are you able to commit your time based on the meeting calendar?
Yes, I am.
President Shaw.
Please tell us why you'd like to be on the budget committee.
I'd like to be on the budget committee for a couple of reasons. And one is that this is a small community and I have kind of a unique skill set in the financial industry as an actuary. So I think I have something to lend potentially, if nothing more than a critical eye and a high respect for integrity of financial processes.
Explain what an actuary is.
Oh, yes, of course. So an actuary works for insurance companies primarily and upholds the regulations of the states and is responsible for ensuring that the company has reserved appropriately over the long term so that the policyholders will get paid out their benefits. There've been a few movies over the years made that highlight an actuary as someone who predicts when you're going to die. I can't do that, but I can tell you what the present value and the probability of death is given a particular age and so forth.
Okay, so back to your.
Right, and the second piece of it is I have been in the community for about 9 years, kind of watched things going on in the community. I expect to be here long-term, and I think this is a great entry point in sort of a nonpartisan way to get involved and to better understand how our community operates.
What do you think you'll add with your participation on the budget committee?
So I bring a significant critical eye. And I'm very attuned to risk. So I think I'll bring kind of a lens to look for mistakes, challenges, something that may not go well a few steps down the line. And in particular, look to uphold transparency standards, make sure things are sort of by the book, so to speak.
All right, what do you feel are the biggest opportunities and challenges facing St. Helens?
Well, in general, it looks like the community could use more participation from the citizens. Seems like there's sort of semi-perpetual challenges in staffing filling all of the roles needed to run the community. Aside from that, a lot has changed in the last few years. I think one of the biggest challenges here is actually on the economic front. What does the future look like for St. Helens? How do we manage that, especially being in such a small county right next to metro areas? I think this is just a very unique situation. As a city that doesn't want to lose its feel. My wife grew up here, moved back here on purpose. I grew up in another small town in Oregon. But I particularly like this place, and I think it has a number of challenges.
Right, do you have anything else you'd like us to know about?
Nothing particular other than to say I've been in the community for a number of years. I have a son here going to school. Number of family members, kind of extended family in the area, and so ties to the area. As well as I've been active on the architectural committee in my HOA for the last 5 or 6 years. And for several years, I held a treasurer position in the Pacific Northwest Marine Aquatic Society.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Copy of it, just so you. All right, the next individual we have, and the next candidate is Nick Wolf. And Alana, all right.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. How are you? Good.
Right, so the budget committee meets 2 to 3 times a year, generally in April and or May. Are you able to commit your time based on the budget or based on the meeting calendar that you already have in your hands?
What time are the meetings there's typically held?
In the evenings?
Yeah, I believe we scheduled them for 6:30.
Oh, okay, and then is that monthly as well on top of the dates listed?
No.
Oh, okay, then yes, I would be able to fulfill that.
Please tell us why you would like to be on the budget committee.
So I am a relatively newer resident to St. Helens. I'm originally from South Bend, Indiana. Met my wife in Washington when I was in the Navy. Moved down here and we've called this home ever since. I also have my first son on the way, and I think it's a great place to raise kids. So I'd like to do what I can in my powers to create a better home and environment for my family.
All right, what do you think you'll add, with your participation on the budget committee?
So I was previously on the Parks and Trails Commission. I only resigned from that because my job moved me from Seattle and I decided not to go on with that. So we decided to stay in St. Helens. But anyways, can you repeat the question?
So what do you think you'll add with your participation on the budget committee?
Oh, so anyways, back to my original statement. So I was on the Parks and Trails Commission. I'm familiar with the style of meeting. I believe it's Robbins Rules. Is that accurate? What they call it? Okay. So I'm familiar with the meeting style. I know how it operates. I have a strong backing for law enforcement and public safety. I'm fiscally responsible, so I'd like to make choices that make a smart decision for the city to save money and have a balanced budget. And that's pretty much it.
All right, what do you feel are the biggest opportunities and challenges facing St. Helens?
Ironically, I think our budget is one of the biggest challenges. I would like to see our infrastructure grow and create sources of revenue for the city. I think we have a lot of wonderful land that can be used for different companies to come in and create jobs and economic growth for the community. I think that's important as the population of our town has increased over the years. As a previous applicant stated, we have many people that live here and commute to work. Personally, while I've been searching for jobs, I found that a lot of the jobs here don't match to the needs of a modern family's income. So I'd like to see some of those jobs that are found elsewhere be local. But yeah, those are my big goals. I think some of the challenges we face is our law enforcement situation. Like I said, I was a volunteer firefighter, so law enforcement, first responders, that's near and dear to my heart. But I think with that growing population, we're gonna see some need for more law enforcement in the future.
Do you have anything else you'd like us to know about?
Not particularly. I guess some fun facts other than me being from Indiana and having corny dad jokes since I'm gonna be a dad soon. I just think it's a good opportunity to further fulfill my civil duties as a citizen of St. Helens. Thank you for your time. Thanks.
All right, Alana, if you would like to come up, thank you for getting here before your time. We started early, but we would have waited for you. We just got done a little bit earlier today. So you probably saw from the other two candidate interviews, but what we're going to do is go through the interview process, then we're gonna have deliberations after we're done. Okay. So the first question I have for you is the budget committee meets 2 to 3 times a year, generally in April and or May. Are you able to commit your time based on the meeting calendar? And there's actually the calendar right there that Gloria.
Yes, again. Okay, please tell us why you would like to be on the budget committee.
I've lived here my whole life and I have kind of watched as the economy has taken kind of a downward slide and it's been difficult to keep the city and the county in the black. And I think that I could offer perhaps a perspective on the committee that's a little bit different than some of the other people, since I think that I'm significantly younger than a lot of the other applicants and people on the committee at this time. But I also believe that there's perhaps a transparency that can be helped via more communication. And I was a tutor and an educator in various subjects as well as English, math, computer science. And I want to open communication doors with people who want to know what the council is doing and what they're working on right now.
What do you think you'll add to the with your participation on the budget committee?
Like I said, I'd like to offer a bit of a different perspective, maybe one for the younger people in the county, people who are like 30 and under, just over that, but I'd also like to be able to get just more education about how the county budget is working, and I would love to get more active politically, locally. I've been feeling like I want to be more active in my community.
All right, what do you feel are the biggest opportunities and challenges facing St. Helens?
I think the biggest opportunities right now would probably be we could make I think, a lot more of Halloween Town, for instance. I think that there's a lot of money that, now I came for a previous session and there was discussion about what happened with, like, I believe the Halloween Town the year before last, and how there wasn't as much income as we could have gotten from that. And I think that, there's a lot of opportunities to increase the size of Halloween Town, or what might go into it, or who we work with, get, musicians on board, that kind of thing. And I also believe that the biggest challenges right now are essentially the same thing, which is, the cash flow that we have in and out of the city, and where the money is being directed, and how much we're making through like extracurricular activities for kids, or businesses that cater to people who want to do local shopping or things like that.
Do you have anything else you'd like to add, let us know about?
I look forward to hearing from you.
Shortly.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, next individual is, or next candidate is Brady Preheim. So the budget committee meets 2 to 3 times a year, generally in April and or May. Are you able to commit your time based on the calendar, which is also on the table right there?
Yes.
Please tell us why you would like to be on the budget committee.
Been on the budget committee once before. And I think that there's probably nobody in the city who knows more about its operations than me. Certainly, I don't always agree with you, but I think that the budget needs to have an integrity that has been lacking. And I think I will present that. I won't allow things like saying things that, like E2C never gave money when that wasn't true, or putting on a demand of $300,000 for tourism directors that nobody thinks is going to happen. I think that that's wrong. I think that's actually fraud to put that in your budget if you don't think it's going to happen. And I think it's also wrong to do things like put in the cost of living elimination that you haven't talked to the union about. I'm not saying that I even necessarily disagree with any of those policies. I'm saying there needs to be a conversation. And that should have happened prior to adopting it into your budget.
Thank you, Brady.
Okay, what do you think you'll add to the participation on the budget committee?
I think I'm practical, and I think, like I said, I know more about processes and predictions that usually come true than just about anybody.
What do you feel are the biggest opportunities and challenges facing St. Helens?
The biggest opportunity is the waterfront. It's also our biggest challenge because it needs to be done well. I'm concerned that Romano Capital, while they could be a good partner, they have historically not done development. They have been an investment banker. And while they've done a few hotels, I'm concerned that the waterfront may be too big of a project for them, and that we need to be very careful about how we structure that development with them, and that they don't get out beyond their skis or their capacities, because they've never done a huge development as our waterfront could be. I think they could maybe do parts, but I'm concerned about them doing the overall waterfront. I don't know that they have the capacity to do that. And I think it would be a challenge to find somebody, especially considering our current financial situation, which I think is going to be a second biggest challenge is our current budget. And I'm really concerned about the comments that your administrator made today about the police station being basically in the contingency funds, and we haven't even broken ground. And that we're going to use money from Boise to shore up the contingency funds. That concerns me too. And so those are my probably biggest concerns. And
Okay, do you have anything else to add?
no, like I said, I've certainly don't always disagree with you, but when I was on the budget before, I think I was a team member. And I think I did a good job, and I made my feelings clear about what I thought should happen and what shouldn't happen.
Okay, so now we have had all 5 candidates up here, and now we have deliberation. We have some discussion, and if anybody wants to put forward a motion for a particular candidate at this time, we can also do that.
Well, guess you guys are letting me do all the heavy lifting tonight, aren't you? Thanks. I want to say that, all of the applicants who came forward today, that it is amazing that I can still walk through the door and sit in this room and see people I don't know. Because I thought that I knew everybody in this town, but 15,000 people, this town is growing. So we're going to see people we don't know. And that is really inspiring. And part of the reason why I wanted to sit up here, right, was that seeing you guys come in here and put your name in for something like the budget committee, which numbers may interest a lot of people, but most of us just want to be involved in the community. So I really just want to say that I admire that and I appreciate that. So with that said, I'll make a motion to appoint Jeremy Evans to the budget committee.
Second.
Do we have any discussion?
Does anyone else have anything else to say? I'm the only one who said
No.
anything, so.
Like, he I will just say he was my top candidate coming out of this. I like the fact of the being risk averse and having the actuary background. I personally did not like to have that level of advanced mathematics going on in my head all the time, right? So I'm wondering if you definitely bring a different perspective, especially when it comes to not just looking now, but a couple of steps down the road and a decision we make now, how it can affect here. So I think that he was right that there is, we found another citizen with a unique skill set here, and I think we should capitalize on it. So we have a motion. Anybody else want to discuss? Yeah. We have a motion. We have a second. Council President Jones? Aye. Councilor Hubbard? Councilor Gunderson?
Aye.
And I am an aye as well.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And welcome. Thank you all for
Yes,
coming.
yes, and please apply to other things that come up. Welcome to the budget committee. It'll be blast. Okay. So, here's the agenda. Oh, council member, thank you. I don't know, I just lost it. Council member report. So Council President Chilton, do you have something?
I really don't have much to report. As you know, we're getting ready to go into the budget cycle and that's always a really difficult time because there's never enough money. So it's, I'm bracing myself for that. And the rest of us are, I'm sure as well. So we're ready for that. I did want to say a congratulations to Jen, Melanie and Shauna. I think hearing how long that they've been with the city is really just amazing and astonishing that we're able to keep these staff here, great assets to the city. And so I just want to, appreciate them and their hard work and their dedication to the city of St. Helens. And then I want to take a few moments to celebrate the reopening of the paper mill. I think this is amazing. I've taken a lot of initiative to, really try to make this a huge community celebration because in the state of Oregon, we're losing industry as years go by. There's just so much red tape and it's very difficult for industry, especially timber industry to come up, be developed here and especially come back. So I'm really amazed and I think it's really something that we should be really proud of and the jobs and the taxes that we're bringing back to the city of St. Helens. And I really want to celebrate that. So in every networking event that I've been at and every, room that I've sat in, I really try to celebrate that. So that's all I have.
Councilor Hubbard, do you have anything today?
I think glad to see Arcadia finally come to fruition. It's been a long time and a lot of negotiation and it's one of the few cities you'll hear about in the news that's bringing actual work back to a community that isn't just a the internet or something like that. It's actually hands-on. We've got the people that used to work at that mill here already. So it's a natural, it's gonna be great. And I think they're gonna be good partners. And then that's off my plate now. And then John's put me on another plate or two, so I'm working on those. We'll let you know.
I don't wanna, I'm gonna go back on the Project Arcadia thing too. This is a really unique situation. We had something that this could have gone really south. And when they came in, I spoke to the people that were bringing that in and I said, well, I want to make this happen. Whatever it is that this council can do to make it happen, let's do it. And we did. So I'm pretty proud of that. I mean, where else do you see a city, a vacant mill open up again like that? And it's really good for our citizens. It's good for the people that work there. It's a win-win. So that's all I got.
I don't really have much today. I want to thank Kathy and Lisa as always for all their hard work, especially when we have to move things on the agenda or things happen. So thank you for being fluid and patient, having everything prepared, as well as the rest of the city staff that, you know, is running extremely lean now. We saw when we look at building and planning and, you know, they're really overextended, which is obviously a financial issue, but they're still making things happen within the city and being extremely lean. So that's very much appreciated. I already had mentioned earlier, my appreciation for Gloria. The budget season, numbers are numbers, which makes it helpful, but it's just a very stressful time and there's a lot of things riding on it. We have, you know, we're trying to make the best out of nothing, and there's not a money tree in the backyard that we have been able to find and utilize. There's a lot of, I think, really good plans, potentially, you know, income generating revenue possibly, but it's just gonna take that planning to get there. Also, a citizen made a comment today about my phone not working and going to voicemail. I will double check that. I get a lot of phone calls, and so I don't know how that happened, but it is important that I do respond to citizens when they will email me or call me. So that is a big deal. I take that serious. So I try to fall back on to make sure I'm following up with citizens when they reach out to me. I think it's important, even if, I mean, some of the stuff that it comes my way, I'm not able to obviously facilitate and put it on to our city administrator to direct it. But anyway, I thought that was strange. So I will double check that. And I think that there's so much positivity going on right now that as far as the things that we have on the horizon, Project Arcadia, I'm just going to echo it because I'm so excited that they are now officially part of our community and our industry partners here. The mill is going to hit its 100th year anniversary next year. And, you know, that is a piece of identity of St. Helens. And we have a lot of history, a lot of family members that have worked in there. So I was so happy if you were listening, it got done on Christmas Day, I believe is when we finalized that. Yeah. And so everybody put a lot of work into that and it was a great Christmas present for sure. So anyway, that's I think all I have for this agenda. We have some stuff coming up. I know people are excited about the side-by-side ordinance that should be on the next agenda. I know we're gonna get asked because we're outside already. So we'll touch base on that and we have some additional stuff coming up. So